Yeah.
So I think of accepting the moment as it is it's just things are as they are in this moment. But the future, there's multiple paths depending upon what action we choose to take. And so the serenity prayer comes to mind, having the wisdom to know what we can change is what I struggle with. So how do you yeah, so I guess what are your thoughts on the serenity prayer as a way of thinking about accepting things as they are, but then choosing a path forward? Like you took action, you researched it, got blood pressure, recommended getting a blood pressure machine. So we're not. It's not a passive accepting things as they are happens in the moment. Like up until this moment, I can't affect change in this moment, but I can choose to take action for the future.
There's a few ways to answer that question, Lou. One is that at some level, that's absolutely correct. That when we accept everything as it is, then we're no longer on autopilot. We're no longer being simply pushed along by our habitual patterns, so that options can emerge in that space, in that pause, and then an option emerges as the path ahead. And those options wouldn't have emerged if we were simply just acting out our habitual patterns. So at that level, that's exactly how things unfold for us, particularly if we're at the kind of the stage of unfolding where we're identified more with the witness than with the ego. Right? We're simply stepping back and witnessing what's unfolding and accepting what's unfolded in this moment. And realize that the moment you notice something, it's already happened. So you're not really accepting the moment as it is, you're accepting the moment as it just was. It's already, the moment you notice it, it's already happened. There's a little nuance there in language, but it's not accepting the next moment. It's accepting the last moment. The next moment, you have no idea what it is. The egoic mind will worry about the next moment. In fact, it's expert at worrying about what might happen in the next moment. Of course, that's only thoughts in the present moment. And when you accept that the mind is worrying in the present moment, you're no longer worrying. And so now you're clear again, and you can respond with some intelligence. So at that one level, that's how that can be kind of unpacked. At another level, there's absolutely no control. There's no egoic will. There's no a personal will. There's no control over the unfolding of life, because there's so many causes and conditions coming to bear to any moment that it simply unfolds based on all these innumerable causes and conditions, because everything is so intimately interconnected. So you're simply a small bit of this enormous matrix of interconnected unfolding. So what kind of control could you possibly exert on that? So that's at another level. But having said that, there is the one, let's call it the one. This whole matrix, we could call it the one. And it's what's, everything's unfolding as this one. It has let's call it a collective intelligence. And when you're no longer struggling at any level and you recognize that everything is unfolding based on interconnected causes and conditions, there's an access to this deeper intelligence. So you actually become part of the unfolding. You're just living life in kind of a more spontaneous way. You just start to see, oh, this is unfolding in this way. This is unfolding in this way. So you become more, you could say, part of the flow of life. So in that way, you're participating in it, but there's no sense of any control over it. Not even as the witness who's stepped back from identification with the ego, who then has choices. Even that has fallen away. I know I've spoken at two levels. At one level, the identification with the witness is still present, so choices arise. At the other level, identification with the witness has also fallen away, and there is simply unity. So there's two ways to kind of answer that, what you asked. The stage of being identified with the witness is actually a very blissful state of being in the world, because we're no longer driven by these conditioned habitual patterns of the egoic mind. So there's a huge feeling of freedom and happiness, bliss even, when we're identified with the witnessing self. And in fact, I think many people leave this group when they get to that stage. In fact, I get emails from people that leave the group, and I'll get a beautiful email saying, I've gone from a state of deep suffering about XYZ, and I'm just in a very happy, almost blissful state of just being, present with life as it's unfolding, and just I'm making intelligent choices, and life just seems so much easier. So I'm just going to step back from the group for a while. I know exactly where they're at, and it's kind of like, just hang on for a little while longer, and more will unfold. It's kind of the beginning of the end of the whole egoic structure. Yeah, but it's a beautiful, beautiful state of being, really, to be the witness and to be identified with the witness and not the ego. Just a beautiful way of navigating through life with these choices that simply emerge, that you didn't even know were possible. You didn't even know that you had a mind capable of producing such choices, right? It's like there's another being that's kind of emerged and is living life through you, and for many people it feels like awakening, right? Because they've awakened to a new way, a new self, a self that's much freer, a self that's much happier. Yeah, so practicing the witness, and what kicks in is Viktor Frankl's quote, between stimulus and response, there's a space, and in that space lies your power. That's that choices that arise in that space. So you can't say that you've made a choice, right? Choices arise within that space. Now, do you choose one of those choices? Or does simply one of the choices that arise just kind of emerge as the clear way forward? Right? Can you say that you actually chose them? It's just in the witness state, you're simply allowing space for more things, for a deeper level of things to unfold, if that makes any sense. But it can feel like choices are being made. So it feels like freedom. It feels like liberation from the ego, because it is.